Our Bible reading for today's discussion is taken from 2 Samuel chapter 13. This is the story about Amnon and Tamar. Last week, we started off with the different types of deception. We started by talking about the deception that comes from external sources. Where the first episode, we dealt with deception from colleagues. Today, we are going to tackle what I call deception by relatives. Relatives, I mean family and friends. My name is Theophilus Lamptey, and this is The Narrow Path. 2 Samuel chapter 13, and I read. After this, Absalom, the son of David, had a lovely sister whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, the son of David, loved her. Amnon was so distressed over his sister Tamar that he became sick, for she was a virgin, and it was improper for Amnon to do anything to her. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimeah, David's brother. Now, Jonadab was a very crafty man, and he said to him, "Why are you, the king's son, becoming thinner day after day? Will you not tell me?" Amnon said to him, "I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister." So Jonadab said to him, "Lie down on your bed and pretend to be ill. And when your father comes to see you, say to him, 'Please let my sister Tamar come and give me food, and prepare the food in my sight, that I may see it and eat it from her hand.'" Then Amnon lay down and pretended to be ill. And when the king came to see him, Amnon said to the king, "Please let Tamar, my sister, come and make a couple of cakes for me in my sight, that I may eat from her hand." And David sent home to Tamar, saying, "Now go to your brother Amnon's house and prepare food for him." So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was lying down. Then she took flour and kneaded it, made cakes in his sight, and baked the cakes. And she took the pan and placed them out before him, but he refused to eat. Then Amnon said, "Have everyone go out from me." And they all went out from him. Then Amnon said to Tamar, "Bring the food into the bedroom, that I may eat from your hand." And Tamar took the cakes which she had made and brought them to Amnon her brother in the bedroom. Now when she had brought them to him to eat, he took hold of her hand and said to her, "Come, lie with me, my sister." But she answered him, "No, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing should be done in Israel. And as for you, you would be like one of the fools in Israel. Now, therefore, please speak to the king, for he will not withhold me from you." However, he would not heed her voice, and being stronger than she, he forced her and lay with her. Then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred with which he hated her was greater than the love with which he had loved her. And Amnon said to her, "Arise, be gone." I'll continue this reading from the verse 28 all the way to the 33, and then we will be able to actually come out with the character of Jonadab, who actually is a cousin to Amnon. But you realize that although Amnon had these evil intentions, he was overpowered with lust, thinking that it was love for the half-sister, which was Tamar. It was actually Jonadab who gave the evil master plot. So then Jonadab tells Amnon that, "You know what? I know you have this feeling towards your sister, but there is a way you can get her to sleep with." Instead of Jonadab telling Amnon that, you see, it is a sin to practice incest or even rape somebody in our kingdom of Israel, he was the one that actually told Amnon how to go about executing his plan. So then Amnon also takes the advice of Jonadab. He decides to adhere to the advice of Jonadab by feigning sick, so that when his father David comes to visit him, he would make a request that he wants Tamar to come and prepare food for him. At the blind side of the father, who thought there was nothing wrong with a sister preparing food for a brother, also calls for Tamar and asks Tamar to quickly go to the house of Amnon to prepare the cake for him. Tamar gets to Amnon's house. She prepares the cake. All this while, Amnon was trying to lure Tamar. But Tamar, also being a sister, a half-sister for that matter, to Amnon, she didn't take anything into consideration that probably there could be an evil plot against me. So she also ignorantly just goes about doing whatever she has to do, to the point when even Amnon asked her to bring the food to the bedroom. She still didn't think there was anything very serious about it. It was at the point when she realized that physically Amnon was trying to make advances at her. Then she goes ahead to say, no, you can't do this thing. This is not heard of in Israel. And don't do that, because if you do that, you're going to become like one of the fools of Israel. And it's going to bring so much shame to me. You know what? Even if you go and ask of my hand in marriage from my father, I know my father would not deny you this privilege. But because lust has overtaken the young man so strong, he thought it was love, but it was lust instead. He wanted it immediate and now. He did not think about the repercussions. He didn't think about who he was going to hurt or anything of that sort. So you see, the difference between love and lust is that love is patient. Lust wants it now, irrespective of whatever the consequences will be. So Amnon ends up forcing Tamar, actually raping Tamar. This was so interesting because immediately the act finished, the so-called love he had for his sister automatically turned into hatred. He was filled with so much hatred, he didn't even want to see the sister and asked the house elves to come and drive her away. Now let's go and read the 28 to 33 and we will see actually who Jonadab actually represents. Verse 28 to 33. Now Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, watch now, when Amnon's heart is merry with wine, and when I say to you, strike Amnon, then kill him. Do not be afraid. Have I not commanded you? Be courageous and valiant. So the servants of Absalom did to Amnon as Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons arose, and each one got on his mule and fled. And it came to pass while they were on their way, that news came to David, saying, Absalom has killed all the king's sons, and not one of them is left. So the king arose and tore his garments, and lay on the ground, and all his servants stood by with their clothes torn. Then Jonadab, take note here, the same Jonadab that deceived the young man by giving him a wrong advice, appears again, and see the kind of mindset he has. Then Jonadab, the son of Shimeah, David's brother, answered and said, let not my lord suppose they have killed all the young men, the king's sons, for only Amnon is dead. For by the command of Absalom, this had been determined from the day he forced his sister Tamar. Now therefore, let not my lord the king take the thing to his heart, to think that all the king's sons are dead, for only Amnon is dead. This is what I want you to pay attention to. You see, this was the agent of the deception that caused Amnon to enact a plan that got him to rape his sister Tamar. This same person comes here when news has gone out that all the sons of David had been killed by Absalom. He goes to tell the king that no, all your sons are not dead. It is only Amnon that is dead. And this is what he said that actually fascinated me. He said, it is only Amnon that is dead. For by the command of Absalom has been determined from the day that he forced his sister Tamar. But when Jonadab was explaining to David that it was only Amnon that was killed, he did not tell David that I was the one who unfortunately gave him the advice. So you see, this is what happens. When the agents of deception fulfill their assignment, they will step out of the scene and go and explain it to make it look like it was all your idea. And why is this happening? This is the same role Satan plays. Bible calls him the accuser of the brethren. So what Satan will do is that he will inspire you. He will give you an idea. After you fulfill that idea that lands you into rebellion against God, then he steps away. When he steps away, then he begins to point accusing fingers at you. Brothers and sisters, beware of your Jonadab. Beware of the people that are very close to you, because we are very vulnerable to relatives. We are very vulnerable to family and friends because they are close to us. They are the people that are supposed to rather give us the right direction. But if care is not taken, they will be the very people that are going to put you in the pit. And at the end of the day, they will step outside and make it seem as if it was all your idea and they had no hand in it. Amnon got killed because he listened to the deceptive advice of a cousin called Jonadab. From today, may God deliver you, may God deliver me, that we will be diligent in the things that we do. We will not be the agents of deception so that we will give wrong advice to people that are around us. And we will not also fall victims to agents of deceptive advices that the devil has planted around us. May God help us. May God bless and keep you. May God let his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. And above all, may we stay in the teachings of God's word, because the only thing that we can use to ascertain whether whatever we are about to do, whatever we are saying, or whatever we've been told to do is right or wrong is on the premise of God's word. My name is Theophilus Lamptey, and this has been The Narrow Path. Till we meet again next week, it's bye-bye for now, and stay blessed.